So this piece is the piece for the main staircase. Now I'm just folding down on all the score lines. For the score lines in the center of the piece, I want to fold them like an accordion fold. So when you want to start folding, so you have your little small tabs. The first score line is going to be a mountain fold, and then the next one is going to be a valley fold. And then you just, once you start that, you just want to continue in that order all the way along. So you have your mountain fold and your valley fold. As I mentioned in the first part of the video, I used my Cricut to draw the lines on the brick pattern, and I used a silver gel tip pen to create those lines. They didn't stand out enough to really look like bricks. I found a white pencil crayon, and I just used a ruler and darkened those lines. And then I just drew the vertical lines freehand. So I'm just gluing down my brick pieces. The first small rectangle is my first step, and then I have a brick piece, another step, brick piece, and so on and so forth. And so you just want to glue down those brick pieces. So next I'm going to glue my little staircase together. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue on both these small tabs. So the first tab's at the top. The score line for the tab is right up against that cut line for that first step. And from the underside, I'm going to go to the next two tabs. These tabs are larger in size. Cut edge has to be right against the score line for my step, right there. I'm going from the underside again, holding the next tabs downwards and putting glue on them. So these tabs are going to be glued on top of the tabs that you've just glued down. So all those red pieces are going to be the rise. Well, here's the other side with that small tab, and I'm gluing it over the tab that we've just glued together. I'm just going to pinch that in place. I feel that doing it on both sides simultaneously helps you keep lined up a little bit better. I'm gluing down the large tab first, and then the small tab next. And I'm just going to continue doing that all the way along. So now that all my steps are glued down, I'm going to put glue on both these tabs on either side. This is the back of my stairs. I want my cut edge right along the score line. I put glue on the tabs and I'm just tucking them under. I'm just going to put glue on both these sides, and I'm tucking those inside as well. And then I have my two decorative brick pieces that are going to go on the sides. Just putting glue on the underside of each panel and gluing it to the sides. Those are the stairs that are going to go to the front of your gazebo. These are the pieces for the bench. These rectangular pieces with all the score lines down it are for the legs for your bench. One end piece has little triangles cut out of it. You want to fold your piece down on the second score line. Put glue all over that tab, being careful not to get glue anywhere else. Fold the other end over like so, and then pop it up and it becomes your bench leg. You want to do that for all four pieces. Next I have the seat for my bench. I'm just going to fold down on all the score lines, including those little tiny tabs. If you're having difficulty folding down on those little tiny pieces, you can use your Cricut scraper tool to help you find those lines. I have 8 of these slats that are for the top and 8 of these slats for the bottom. I'm just layering them up 2 by 2, which will create 4 slats for the seat of my bench. So these pieces, I want to glue them down, but I'm looking at the bottom and there's going to be about 1/16 of an inch overlap on each side so that they go past the frame of the bench. I've tucked those sides underneath. I'm just going to put glue along my first slat. So I'm going to position it right on top of one of the slats that are on the black piece. I'm going to turn it around to make sure that there's an even overlap on both sides. Then I'm going to take my next piece, put glue on the back of it, and just position my next piece. And I'm going to continue like that with all 4 slats. So next I'm going to put a little bit of glue on those little tiny tabs on either end of the side of my bench. And I'm just going to tuck them under. I'm making sure that the cut edge is right against that score line for the tab. I'm going to do that on the other end as well. So just putting glue in that corner. So next I'm going to take those little bench legs and just putting it in that corner and then just adhering it to the sides. And I'm going to do that with all 4 of them. So just for the seat of my bench, I'm doubling up the wooden slats for the back of my bench. And I'm going to adhere them to the back the same way. All right, so now that my back piece is finished, I'm just going to adhere it to the legs of my bench. I'm just putting glue along the bottom section, just gluing my legs right up against like so. And there's my little bench. For the railing, you want to fold down on all the score lines. Then I have this one piece that has an arch at the top and a cutout at the bottom. I'm going to fold down on its score lines too. This piece with the diagonal edges in this direction fits exactly in here on the lower part of my railing. I'll be putting glue on both sides and leaving this one. I'm just putting glue from the score line to the edge and just applying this right up against the score line at the end here. I want to make sure that it's right against the score line in the opening as well. Now I'm putting glue on the other side and I am folding down, making sure that it's right against those score lines on each end and right up against the opening. Okay, so now I'm going to fold down on that little tab that's at the top and I'm putting glue on it. And then I'm going to fold down on one of these sides and I'm keeping it flat on my mat while I do this. I'm going to put glue on the other side as well and then fold it over, and as I'm doing this I'm laying it flat on my mat just to make sure that my pieces don't get twisted. So I'm going to do the same thing at the other end. I have my little tab. I'm going to put glue on it. I'm going to fold down the side, put glue all over it, and then fold down on the remaining side, closing it up and making sure that it's nice and straight. And this is the piece for the post. And then I'm just going to fold down on all the score lines for the post. Now I'm going to fold down on the second score line. I have my tab here. I'm putting glue all over the tab and making sure not to get glue anywhere else. And I'm folding down that end piece like so. And when it pops up, that's my post. For the bottom of my post, I'm just going to fold those pieces outwards. For the top, one of the tabs, so you know the tabs because they have little triangles cut out of them. I'll fold one of the tabs down and put glue on it, and then I'm folding the other tab that's across from it down. And I'm going to put glue on one of those squares and fold it down, glue on the last square and fold it down. And that's the post for my railing. So next I'm going to take my railing and put glue all along that long side. I've got my post on my mat. I want to make sure that my railing is nice and square. I'm gluing my railing to the post, using my mat as a guide to keep everything nice and square. That's